The Buffalo Bills just got great rookie news, and it's coming straight from our coach's mouth, and it's coming right at us week 1 against the Ravens. If you've been watching Buffalo football, if you've been watching NFL for any period of time, you know that every single year, coming out of rookie camps, coming out of training camps, coming out of the preseason, and even now going into week 1, coaches are getting to know rookies more and more. And this year, it's not a flashy wide receiver, it's not a flashy running back, it's not some defensive player, but it's actually a rookie tight end out of Yale who transferred to Georgia Tech that we took in the 5th round, 173 overall, Jackson Hawes. And Coach Joe Brady, our offensive coordinator, just yesterday called him the best blocking tight end that he has ever evaluated. And so today we are going to be breaking that pick down and that player down. And then we're going to ask how he fits right now. So stick with us. But first off, I want to ask the question, who is this dude? Now, I've got a play from the preseason. I'm going to let this roll and I'll comment on it in a second. But this is not your typical tight end coming out of college. He's not your pass catching kind of player, your first round pedigree player like a Dalton Kincaid was, who's going to build, he's going to eat up the slot. He's going to run down the seam. He's not the Dawson Knox. He was the miss and match. But Hawes is a 6'4", 253-pound bulldozer. And I use the word bulldozer because that's the word a scout used for him, who came, out of Yale, out of Georgia Tech, graduated a year early with a degree, and then went back to school to play more football because he wanted to play against good competition, meaning he's got some grit, he's got some competitiveness. He ran a 4.82 at the combine, not blazing, but plenty for a blocking tight end. Not a massive guy who's going to be an awesome pass catcher, but even so, look at his lateral agility at 6'4", 250 pounds. This is a monster dude. Watch this, right? Catches a pass, jukes a defender, right? Jukes a cornerback on the outside or a safety on the outside, makes a move, moves up the field for yards, right? And he was the best blocking tight end in the 2025 NFL class. And it reminded a lot of people of Buffalo tight end Lee Smith, who basically when he was playing was an extra lineman in his prime. But hey, so from the start of this, we just see this guy's toughness. We see his brains. We see a grown man that has a body to win at the line of scrimmage and has the ability, the skill set, and toughness to push defensive ends and even linebackers lining up on the outside around. And so let's talk about him, though, coming again out of the 5th round, 173 overall. That's depth. That's a depth piece, right? That's not a wasted pick. That's a player who the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years potentially, depending on if we re-sign him later on, is going to be used in the run game. Joe Brady and Sean McDermott are going to love using a guy like this in their heavy sets. Of course, we run 12 personnel, about the most in the NFL, as well as jumbo packages, right? Whenever we get to these short yardage looks, and whenever we're looking for a 6 offensive lineman on short yardage situations, we might put this guy in later in the year to really dominate with his blocking ability. Again, you get a guy like this who's primarily used as blocking. You're going to disguise him later in the year as a pass catcher or as a run blocker to be a pass catcher, and we're going to get some yards off of him later in the year. But yes, Dawson Knox is our tight end 2. Dalton Kincaid is our tight end 1, who's the clear receiving threat. And Dawson Knox is that mix and match guy. But Hawes, he is this guy who's going to come in a few snaps every single game on the 3rd and 1s or these jumbo packages and seal the edge for a guy like James Cook to break off a big run. Throughout the games and throughout the season. We won't see him probably too much early on in the season, but we are going to see a guy like this be used massively by the coaching staff. But hey, speaking of coaching staff, I just want to play this clip of Joe Brady talking about him. So listen in to this.
Like receiving tight ends. And so that was so exciting of watching Jackson Hawes because might be, and I don't want to ever just like put a guy into like, hey, he's a blocker, but he's the best blocking tight end we've evaluated. The way that he kind of comes out. And so it makes life a little easier for us. We hope in terms of at least game planning, knowing we don't necessarily always have to put a jumbo out on the field, right? He's been everything we've wanted.
You don't always have to put a jumbo on the field because you can use a guy like this in 11 personnel. You can keep three wide receivers on the field and still put a defensive end like this on or defensive or a tight end on the field like this and still maintain an elite level of blocking. Same with jumbo packages, same with 12 personnel. This is going to be a guy who we're going to use consistently throughout the year. But not only that, we've heard from Dawson Knox even that he's done an incredible job, or Dawson Knox said of Jackson Hawes that he's done an incredible job this offseason as a blocker. And Sean McDermott even said a couple of positive remarks. He said off to a good start and he's performed really well. Again, this is the coaching staff. This is other players who are respected and great men that are saying that this guy, as a rookie, a 5th rounder, 173 overall, is performing really well. And that communicates to us as fans, as the Bills Mafia, that this guy is going to be competing for meaningful snaps as the year goes on, and that we have a guy, even again, as Joe Brady says, that he is the best blocking tight end that he has ever evaluated. That means that he can be an absolute stud, as he says, in the run game. And that's the kind of praise, especially ahead of week 1, that gets a lot of attention. You know, the coaching staff could have said whatever they wanted, but they used the way that they even phrased it, the best blocking tight end that they've ever evaluated. That means a lot for Buffalo, especially as we're trying to have consistency with our run game, whether it be Josh Allen or James Cook or even Johnson running the ball out of the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield, and pairing that with our elite offensive line. That is going to give us more and more advantage as we face some of the harder teams, even coming up against the Ravens this week, who's got a great and explosive and deep front 7 and defensive line as well. But what should we really expect? Let's be real about this. Hawes isn't going to rack up stats, right? If you picked him up in your dynasty league or your fantasy league this year, like, we just aren't going to expect a lot of passing production from a guy like this. But on the field, in the box scores, he might not show up, but on the field, he will show up in the highlights of him hopefully pancaking a couple guys, even bigger guys, because he's going to use his leverage to his advantage. So maybe 10 to 20 snaps a game, short yardage conversions, red zone packages when you've already gassed guys like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox with big plays down the field. Maybe there's some disguised looks. I think, as I've already acknowledged, like, we use him for 90% of the snaps that he's in as a blocker, but then we run him out on 1 or 2 of those. He might score a couple touchdowns or get a couple big first downs for us later in the year because of the way that we're disguising looks. Again, going into week 1, we're playing against guys like Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, one of the biggest offensive lines in football, and they're going to want to try to bully the Bills, but they're not going to be able to do that on the other side of the ball. We are going to be the one who punch back. We are going to be the ones who use the talent that we've acquired in the draft and in free agency to punch back. And you lean in to the physicality of guys just like Jackson Hawes to push around the Ravens in week 1 on Sunday Night Football. And having a rookie like Hawes is a guy who basically steps in as a 6 offensive lineman, but has the ability to know the offensive playbook and the pass catching playbook to get out and maybe make a couple plays here and there. So I'm going to be watching them for that on Sunday Night Football. But again, on heavy fronts, smash mouth run game, this is going to be a guy who's going to help move the chains forward. He might only get 10, 15 snaps in a game, even like upcoming on Sunday. But again, that's not the point. We're going to try to utilize him as a chess piece very particularly. And I think even a guy like Joe Brady has acknowledged that. But with that, the big takeaway, Jackson Hawes isn't going to show up again on our fantasy apps. He's not going to catch a bunch of yards. Hopefully that's Dalton Kincaid this year. I think he's going to have a breakout year. That's its own conversation. But Buffalo, I think, is going to use him to win games in different ways. Watch out for him on those 3rd and 1s. Watch him be used as a disguise for play after play as a blocking tight end and then go out to be a pass catcher. Again, watch for James Cook to run, to have a big run on the outside shoulder of this guy, locking in a defensive end or a linebacker on the outside. And don't forget, a rookie tight end like this, he's not going to perform at an elite level right off the bat, but we should expect a growing level of confidence in our coach, or in him, from our coaching staff, just as our coaching staff is already saying here. But again, Joe Brady's calling him the best blocking tight end he's ever evaluated. And for a 5th rounder, that's an absolute gold mine. That's an absolute great find and a great piece of rookie news for us going into this year. Again, Buffalo's got some great rookies. We hope Maxwell Hairston gets back really soon. But this guy, his name is Jackson Hawes. Remember it. It's going to be important. But hey, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, if you're a diehard fan, and you're so excited for this football season, my name's Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks. I would just invite you, join our community. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're still watching this video, make a comment. What are you most excited for this season? Or even this, again, what is your favorite food that you're going into this game that you want to eat? Again, for me, it's chips and dip, man. I am so excited for some of the eats around football, but even so, spending time with family, the weather's getting colder. It's going to be a great season. Make sure to hang out with us every single day. We're posting new videos. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and even so, have a great day. Peace out. Go Bills.